107.5 ZRX Lima's Rock Station. Jimmy in with you. There's Lita Ford checking in. She's coming to Toledo at Savage Arena on March 19th. This is a giant lineup. You get Lita Ford, Bret Michaels, Warrant, Firehouse, Rat, LA Guns, Winger, Trickster, all in one show. You can find out more at utrockets.com. And right now on the phone with us, the legendary Lita Ford. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm just waking up in Southern California and getting me some coffee and having some radio time with you.
Well, that's cool. You get to sleep in a little bit, which I know you probably need right now because I looked at your schedule and you are packed out all the way through April. You've got live shows happening all that month. You've got a new record coming out called Time Capsule. That's due out April 15th. Now, this is going to be a new record for us, but for you, it's not necessarily a new record, right?
Right, correct. It is a record that was recorded in the 80s, and I've had it on my shelf since the 80s. I've had it sitting on my shelf, and I thought, what a great thing to release, because really they're sort of the lost tapes, the hidden tapes, that there's so many great musicians on these songs. They were jam sessions that I took the engineer from the Kiss Me Deadly, Close My Eyes Forever sessions, and him and I went into the recording studio with these great musicians, like, for instance, Billy Sheehan. I've got Gene Simmons on one track. I've got Robin Zander, Rick Nielsen on one track. I've got Jeff Scott Soto singing a duet. I've got Dave Navarro on mandolin. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like a rock star city, and everybody was in their prime during this time. So it's going to be a good album, and this is why I call it the Time Capsule, because it really is a piece of time in history.
Now, you've got that happening in April. You've got the shows you're going out and doing to promote that. Last month, you had another big thing. You had a brand new book come out called Living Like a Runaway. How was that to write? I noticed the one big story that came out of this that I wanted to ask you about. This went all over a few weeks ago. You alleged that Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath abused you at some point.
Well, he did, but you really need to read the book, because people are just saying, "Oh, he hit her in the eye." I mean, it's so much more than that. And I don't like to put Tony down, because he was my hero on guitar. As a kid growing up, he was the first guitar player I saw live perform when I was 13. And I idolized him and his music. I idolized Black Sabbath. So it's kind of bizarre that later on in life I ended up engaged to Tony Iommi and having a top 10 hit single with Ozzy Osbourne. Pretty bizarre.
That really is, and it's got to be a weird thing for you when your hero, your idol, turns around and treats you in a way that you wouldn't expect. I think that has to bum you out on a fairly deep level there.
Yeah, it did. It really was awful, and it messed with my head. I was very hurt. But if you read the book, it explains all of it in the book, talks about it, and hopefully, he's not like that anymore. I hope.
Was there anything that you ended up leaving out of the book? I know recently you've been very public about your divorce and your children and not having seen them for a while. Did that make the book, or is this something you left out, or the publisher asked you to leave out?
I didn't go into detail about what happened during my divorce. You have to read between the lines. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of... I talk about my children, and I talk about what we used to do together and how much I love them and all the fun we had, and how I raised them. Basically, I raised them on a deserted island. There was nobody on that island. There was population 1,500 people on the entire island, and they lived in the middle of the city. The middle of the island. There was no friends, no school, no restaurants, no shops. There was no roads. There was no street signs. I mean, it is a deserted island. And when we built our house on the shoreline there, I had to raise my kids. I had to put them through school. There was no way I was going to let them grow up and not know how to read and write. So I went to work as super mommy, superhero over here, and I taught my kids how to read and write. You know, arithmetic, all their multiplications. And when it came to algebra, that's when I hung it up. I was like, screw this, I'm not learning algebra.
Absolutely. Now, since then, in case people don't know, because I don't know if everybody follows this as closely as I do, since that divorce, you've not really seen your kids.
I have not seen my kids because the father refuses to let me. He has alienated my children from me. And I'm sure a lot of parents know what parental alienation is, and I'm sure a lot of parents don't. And I never knew what it was, and I never heard of it before until it happened to me. And that's pretty much what happens with people. They go through a divorce, and the legal system pretty much kicks in and takes over, and next thing you know, you're selling your house to try and pay legal bills and legal fees, and you're still not any further with your divorce. You're just piddling around, and the attorneys are taking your money, and your kids are suffering. The children are the ones that really suffer the most, because their parents start to use the children as a weapon to hurt the other parent. You know, no, you can't see little Johnny tonight because blah, 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 or he's too busy and he doesn't want to see you. Click. And next thing you know, a month has gone by. Next thing you know, a year has gone by, you know, or 2 years has gone by. And some people, it's been a lifetime. They haven't seen their kids because the other parent won't allow it. And they make up lies. They make up stories to the I swear I won't swear under oath. It's a lie. They swear under oath. They lie under oath. They lie to the judges. They lie to the attorneys. And they make up false accusations about you and say, oh, she's crazy, or she's on drugs, or, of course, being in a rock band, that's easy to say, you know.
Now, can I ask how old the kids are? How, you know, once they're an adult, then does this end?
They are now. James, my oldest, is 18, but when I left, he was 13. My youngest is 14, and I'm not able to Facebook them. He blocks me on Facebook. He blocks me on everything. Everything. Any form of communication is blocked and denied. I don't even know where they live.
There's probably people right now listening that have gone through this or gone through something like this. You've started some sort of Facebook group about this, right?
It's Lita Ford's Parental Alienation Awareness Facebook. So check it out. Lita Ford's Parental Alienation Awareness Facebook.
It's just one of many projects. Like I said, you got the book out. You've got the new record coming out April 15th. You know, of course, your career started with the Runaways, and you know, very early on in your life. Then you've got the giant solo career, and then the big chunk of time off while you're raising your kids on that deserted island. Where are you at now? Are you ready to go full back into it? Is that where you're at, or is it just kind of, you know, tour a little bit?
I am full back into it.
Okay.
I think a book, the tour, the album, I think I got my hands full. And go to pledgemusic.com. We're doing all kinds of giveaway, autographed albums, autographed books, Pledge Music /Lita Ford.
Very cool. It sounds like you absolutely have your hands full. This show that's coming up in Toledo is a who's who of that era of rock. Yourself, Bret Michaels, Warrant, Firehouse, Rat, Ellie Guns, Winger, and Trickster. I know I'm going to be there. I can't wait. Lita, thank you so much and for opening up and sharing with us.
Of course. Thank you for asking those questions about parental alienation. very important that we get the word out.
Thank you.
God bless. See you soon.